indivisible. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
If any words that I have spoken have commanded attention, that is only because they find an echo in the breasts of those of every land and of every race who love freedom and are the foes of tyranny.
You are not our queens. You are not our kings. You are not our gods. We do not belong to you. We are not your slaves. We stand as free humans, have stood since the beginning of time against the strong men.
Hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Speaker's Corner Online podcast. I'm here, I'm your host, Banksy Style, and I'm joined by my co-host, as always, Manny Cinder. Hello,
good
Manny.
Evening, Banksy. How are you doing?
Good. How are you tonight?
Not bad. I can hear an echo.
You can hear an echo.
Other than that, I'm good. Been a busy day as always, and here we are. It's another Wednesday.
Indeed, it goes by quick. It's like yesterday we had a show. I'll be honest, days and months go by quickly. We're running straight up to Christmas. Are you looking forward to Christmas?
Of course, I love Christmas. Second favorite time of the year. What about yourself? Will you be wearing that satanic pentagram that you have around your neck? Will you be wearing that during Christmas?
All the time. This is my Christmas. This is actually my Christmas symbol. And the pentagram is not satanic. The Catholic Church propagandized against it in order to promote the cross.
Well, no, the reverse pentagram is satanic, which is what you're wearing.
No. Well, what I mean is that whole thing was a propaganda. The pentagram is just a symbol of the Druids or pagans of some sort.
The pentagram itself is, but a reverse pentagram, which is what you're wearing with the two points facing up, is the representative of Satan. I
see. Well, either way, it is what it is. I still see it as a propaganda smearing job for the pagans. All right.
A godless person like you wouldn't they?
Indeed. Actually, it looks like, I'm sorry, guys. For some reason, my microphone is going to echo when I share my screen tonight. So when I'm commentating on certain things, then you guys are going to probably hear some echoing, unless I don't share the mic and just share the sound, and I just share the video. But you're going to have to put up with that, because I checked last week's stream and the recording was
torturous for you, because you spend a mortgage every year on sound equipment. You buy more sound equipment than people buy, I don't know, pasta or steak.
Shoes.
This must be not only embarrassing, belittling, and almost like an end of an era for you.
It's frustrating. I can definitely tell you that it is definitely a source of frustration on my behalf to not be able to get this freaking sound exactly right. I don't know whether I think I may have to just spend money on a particular set of equipment. I don't know.
That's it. Throw money at it.
Throw more money.
The 79,000 mics don't work.
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, I could change the mic. I think I might try it for next week. So I'll change back to my USB. What's it called? podcaster, the Rode podcaster. But the thing is with the podcaster, the minute I slightly turn my head, it just cuts out the sound. So it's like I have to speak into it at all times. It's really, it's really tough. It's really like the sound. What's it called? The way it cuts out the sound, the peripheral sound is just a bit too harsh. I need a mic that allows a little bit more peripheral sound. So we'll see. I might do that to see if the echo business gets better. If I have to suffer the echoing yet again. But for now, we're going to deal with it tonight. And the thing is, though, the recordings come out perfect. There's no issues with the recording, because when I listened to the podcast last week, apart from the beginning, which I know what the problem there was, the sound was fine. Anyway, screw that. We're wasting too much time. We're 6 minutes in and we haven't even started on the first topic of this evening. And as always, the first topic of this evening is politics. And I'm going to just share a tiny little clip. We don't really need the actual video itself. I just need it as an intro to get us going. And this is our boy of the hour. Now, I presume the echoing is probably back, huh?
No, it's not. It's okay.
Interesting. Okay, let me play a little bit of this.
It is the greatest privilege of my life to be able to serve the party I love and give back to the country I owe so much to.
All right, that's all I really needed to get into. Who is Rishi Sunak? Now, this is a whole article about who is Rishi Sunak, the next Prime Minister of Britain. So, I'm going to mute up. I'm going to play keep playing the video, but I would like your take on this one, Mr. Manny, Mr. Cinder. Start.
I'm just going to hello, test. Okay, it's gone. So, who is Rishi Sunak? Well, he is a World Economic Forum puppet. So is our King Charles. He's another World Economic Forum member. In fact, even the opposition are World Economic Forum puppets. So the entire government is, the entire EU is, North America, and so on and so forth. So he, we were in London that time, and I did say he would be Prime Minister, because one of my greatest fears is this digital currency that they're trying to launch, and he is the perfect candidate to launch that. I believe that they're going to try and launch a form of digital currency next year, and he's the chap that they're going to put forward and get people to adopt it. So who is Rishi Sunak? He's a former hedge fund manager for Goldman Sachs. How many politicians and key members of corporations have we seen that come from Goldman Sachs? Too many. He's here to destroy Britain even more. Unfortunately, if he does a very good job, bad for the people, good for his leaders, then we're going to see a communist Labour government coming up, which I hear is already in the works anyway.
Okay, so what do you think are going to be the downsides and just generally the problems with a digital currency? I mean, we have digital currencies right now, Bitcoin, etc., etc. So what would happen? I mean, what's going to be the issue with a British pound digital currency? I mean, let's be honest, your credit card is a digital currency right now.
Well, yes or no. Yes, it is centralized, and so would the digital currency be, and it is controlled by the same people. But at the moment, we have hard currency. So if people don't want to be tracked, if they don't want to be, how shall we say, controlled, and people can see how much money they have or where they're spending it, then they can just go to the ATM, withdraw cash, and it's their cash, and it's, they know how much it is. But when the actual hard cash is no longer around, then everything goes digital, then there's no escape. We've seen in China recently where the protesters went to the banks to withdraw their money because the banks were collapsing. and they turned off their social credit rating. They said you have to go back, home. You're not allowed to be here. So that type of thing. So we're going to really see a massive control. Freedoms being removed just because you're protesting, just because you're standing up against the government. That's the likelihood, and that's the fear that I have.
But the problem is that I just don't see the issue there. I mean, right now, if banks, if you want to go and take money out of the ATM, fine. But if the bank cancels your bank account, just like they have done with many so-called dissidents, even a prominent figure like Andrew Tate recently, I don't know if I introduced you to him. He got his bank account shut down. All the sort of PA people, the leaders of PA, such as what's it called, Lauren. Is it Towler? Towler, something Towler. I forgot her first name. I think
Laura Towler.
Laura Towler. She got her bank account suddenly confiscated from her. They just got shut down. I'm sure even the leader of PA, Colette, would have had similar sort of things happen to him. Many banks are cutting. Kanye West. Just recently, Kanye West had Chase Bank close down his account. So this is happening anyway, even with hard so-called currency. I mean, let's be honest, your money is, again, digits in a bank account. Okay. The so-called cash that you go and get out, if you have no bank account, you have no cash to get out. So what's the difference?
But at least you can still get paid by cash at the moment. Imagine there's no option in getting paid in cash, so you can go and pay for your shopping or your mortgage and what have you. Just imagine it's all digital, because when something is digital, then it's controllable. So once they blacklist you, when it's just a digital currency, there's going to be no way for people to pay you in financial terms. You're going to have to barter. You're going to literally have to sell your body or sell your house, or even then it's only going to be swapped for other material objects. You won't get any financial remuneration for it.
Well, I just don't. I don't know. I mean, I don't see. I mean, you're the money man. You know how money works. You know that money is simply a commodity that is exchanged between two parties. So anything can be money. I mean, at one time, a piece of wood was money. The money stick with the king. So since money can be anything, and since you're worried about being tracked, we already have digital currencies which are very difficult to keep track of. I mean, for example, you could convert your British pound, digital British pound, your crypto British pound, to Ethereum. Get yourself 50 Ethereums, download that Ethereum onto a piece of onto a memory stick, and then give that memory stick to someone. If you don't wish to be tracked about, on what you're purchasing, you could purchase whatever you want with a memory stick. A memory stick would then effectively become, or a memory card, an SD card would effectively become money, which you would then give over to someone. They would then upload that Ethereum into their wallet, and they'll give you whatever goods and services. None's the wiser.
Yeah,
You've just basically given someone Ethereum.
All these digital currencies, Banksy, are trackable. It's just that they're not letting people know, or those that are in the know are not talking about it openly. All these digital currencies are trackable.
They're trackable in the sense of, like, look, I'll give you an example. I want to purchase, let's say, something illegal. Most popular thing is like drugs. Let's say drugs. I want to purchase drugs from you, and I don't want anyone to know that I purchased drugs from you, obviously. So in the modern day, you can go cash machine, get some cash, give that cash to that gentleman, to Manny. Manny gives me my drugs. Everybody's happy. In the digital world, it'll be, I'll go convert my pound and I'll buy some Ethereum. I'll then download 20 quid's worth of Ethereum onto my memory card. I then come to Manny. I give my memory card to Manny. Manny gives me my drugs. Manny goes and uploads his Ethereum onto his wallet. Again, they can track that I downloaded 20 quid's worth of Ethereum. They don't know what happened to that until Manny uploads 20 quid's worth of Ethereum, and it can say, yeah, Banksy gave 20 quid's worth of Ethereum to Manny, but they don't know why. They don't know how, what happened, what transpired, what the transaction was.
Yeah, so it's, if they just apply the money laundering aspects to what we have in the UK or KYC in most of the world. So once they apply that and everything has to be traceable and everybody where the money is coming from digitally, it has to be confirmed by the system. You won't be able to do any of that.
How do you mean? I don't understand.
If you're blacklisted, that's all remember they're trying to bring in a digital ID as well. So basically they will know how much Ethereum or how much digital currency that you actually have. So you're not going to even be able to download anything. And even if somehow you had enough, say, Bitcoin on some memory card, and then you come over to pay someone like me for whatever it is, then as soon as I try to upload it, it has to be answerable. Where's that come from? This used to be in Banks's wallet. So how have you got it? When we say digital tracking, we literally mean that there's an end point to everything, right? There's a start point and an end point.
So they will then not allow you to upload your Ethereum or your Bitcoin onto your wallet. Okay, but the thing is, again, this is the world of computers. It's a global system. You're not uploading. You jump on a VPN and you upload your Ethereum onto your wallet in Venezuela, in Iran. You're not doing it in Britain.
Digital ID is going to work. You're not going to be able to have hidden accounts anywhere. It all has to come through a digital ID authorized by a government, which is going to be part of a giant UN database.
Oh, that's the thing. You're saying that if this becomes a global system, as in everybody has to be in on it. Now, we have rogue nations. We have nations like Iran. We have nations like North Korea, and even you could say Venezuela, and to some extent, places like Brazil and Argentina have had people, hide. Criminals usually go over and hide over there because they don't extradite people. So you can have scenarios like that where people would still move their money through those nations because the governments of the world have to, at some stage, unless they completely sanction countries like Venezuela or Brazil, they have to have some kind of banking and some kind of association with them. Mm-hmm. So there will always be loopholes. I'm sure. You see, I see this as a fox and hound game. As the hounds close in, the fox has to become more clever and find ways through. So I don't see this altering the landscape of the fox and hound in any real way. It just simply means that the fox becomes more clever in the way it maneuvers through that system. Any system has its own holes. It has its own vulnerabilities, whether you're dealing with a cash system or whether you're dealing with a digital cash system. I mean, every pound note has a serial number. Every pound coin has a serial number. So if they really wanted to track you down, they could even track your cash down, because they know that at some point Manny today went to cash point A and withdrew £30.
Yeah, right. But when it's all digital and all your computers are hooked to your digital ID, then it becomes that much easier for them, because everything that's,
of course,
any tool that you're going to use to exchange finance, it has to be associated with that digital ID. So they'll apply that digital ID. They're not going to be able to force the digital ID as easy as you think to us, the individuals. They do it through businesses, right? So a company will not be able to operate a business unless X, Y, and Z. A supermarket will not be able to operate unless they provide certain facilities. So that's how they will push people in. We've seen it with the whole COVID protocols. It wasn't so much, though it was as well, the strict rules or the draconian rules against the people, but it was really done through the organizations. And also, I just want to say that I believe that the digital currency that they're going to try to launch in Europe especially, and I'm sure Britain will join, was already launched. And it was launched just after 2007, the credit crunch. It's called the SDR. So my understanding is that is most likely going to be transformed, or is partly already a digital currency. So SDR is short for special drawing rights, and it's controlled by the European Bank. So all those bailouts where the European Bank bailed out Greece, bailed out Cyprus Bank, and so on and so forth, that payment was not paid in euros. It was paid in SDR, special drawing rights, and that was a information. So if and I don't have complete information, but I have a good amount of information that I've read and researched about this, that is most likely going to be the most ready to go centralized digital currency that we have at the moment. We might see, and we probably will see, a Bank of England version coming in the next year or so. But you got to remember that there's still plenty of people in their 60s and their 70s in the UK. You try going to a 70-year-old lady who's retired and say, all right, madam, we're going to introduce you to a blockchain. She's not going to understand.
No, they don't have to do it that way. I mean, that's obviously not going to be the case. It's going to be the case that they will give this 70-year-old a credit card, just like she has had a credit card forever. There's already a crypto credit card, a company called Crypto, I think. They advertise a lot with UFC and other places. They'll just give her a credit card. She just gets a card. She doesn't have to worry about blockchains and digital wallets and shit like that. No, she has a effectively quote unquote bank account. She has a credit card. It's just how that money is transferred through these systems is all cryptocurrency and all of that. She's not going to be mining. Her mining method of her crypto, because every crypto has a mining process. Her mining process is either her pension or when she goes to a job. Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to even notice. We already use digital money. Everybody who has a credit card has digital money.
Yeah, but it's not really digital money. It's based on the fiat banking system, where for every pound or every dollar, there's so much replications of it.
Yeah, the fractional reserve lending.
Yeah, but there's still some level of commoditization that it has, a calculation at least. So, but my point was that these elderly folk, they are not going to understand the concept of digital blockchain or digital currency. So that they're not going to, I believe that they're not going to be able to roll it out completely where they ban cash. However, most of the people don't use cash anyway.
That's what I mean. To be honest, I think this is a generational thing. This is just 1 or 2 generations away. Right now, I know. I was at the weekend. I was at my family's and my cousins and stuff. My cousins, a couple of them are like 18 and 24. They literally don't have any cash on them. They have just their card, and their card is a sort of a digital bank anyway. It's not even a high street bank anymore. It's literally an online. I've got it. Everybody knows about Monzo and Revolut and all these other digital sort of effectively online banks. They have no high street branches. They have nothing. You just simply transfer money from your account, from one account to the other, seamlessly, and then you spend. That's what these kids have got. These kids are not even slightly worried about it. I think the only time they need cash is like coins, if some vending machine or some coin machine requires coins. Literally, it's the only time they worry about cash. Everything else is their card. And I know my brother for a fact hardly ever carries cash with him. He's got cash, maybe 20 quid on him occasionally for some scenario where he might not be able to spend cash. Admittedly, I'm old school. I'm paranoid. I still carry a certain amount of cash always with me. I'm not going to say how much because I don't want a man don't need to get jacked in the streets. Don't need to be advertising how much longer you're carrying, but it's not much. But it's just enough in case I need to suddenly buy something and I don't, or some places still don't accept cash, cards, whatever scenario you might fall into. It's always good to have cash because if the power goes out, cash is still king. So that's the only reason I carry a bit of cash. Otherwise, 99% of the time I'm spending I'm spending money with the card. I think this is a generational thing. I think a couple of generations in and this will disappear. I don't know. I am worried about what you're saying in regards to our freedoms, because this is obviously going to encroach upon your freedom of movement, freedom of purchase, whatever it is. Certain, you may be an upstanding citizen, but occasionally you don't want anyone to know what you're buying. You might want to buy that extra long double-ended dildo and you want to pay cash in a brown paper bag. And you don't want your credit card receipt to be on there. Maybe you do want to go out with that prostitute and you don't need the wife to find out that you booked the hotel at the Holiday Inn and you need to pay cash. So yes, I understand there are certain circumstances where card is and having receipts is disastrous. But you know, prostitutes are going to have to get those ATM.
That's your example of how it would be disastrous. From all the different disasters that could happen.
Dude, what do you want me to say? Do you want me to say you want to go buy an AR-15? I'm an AK-47? No, I'm not going to say that on the internet. I've already got probably Prevent looking at me. It's bad enough. It's bad enough I grew this Taliban beard. I don't need more Prevent. So yes, I'm going to pay with hookers with cash. Because Prevent doesn't give a shit about hookers when you're paying for hookers with cash. They only care when you're grooming and you're paying for Kalashnikovs with cash. So you know, you got to pick your battles, man. You got to pick your battles. Okay. We've already overextended on this one. Let's move on to the next category of things, which is, in fact, conspiracy theories. My good sir, conspiracy theories. Now, I just want to play the beginning part of this. This is a 1 hour and 15 minutes. It's about alien technology and anti-gravity. Now, this is a very long lecture, which you can find on Speaker's Corner Online. But before I go into this, I'd just like to point out, everyone, that this channel and this podcast is sponsored by Speaker's Corner Online. Speaker's Corner Online is a digital it's an online social media network where you can actually upload all the things you like, all the messed up shit that you can't get on YouTube. Are you fed up of being censored on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram? Yes, you can go to Speaker's Corner Online. Upload all the degenerate shit that you can't upload on all the other platforms. we have videos, the wall timeline. Yes, these are my degenerate videos that I've uploaded. Lots of Andrew Tate and other fucked up shit. Actually, I don't know if this is mine because this looks fucked up. But anyway, yeah, we have things. We have live. You can actually, live events. You can go live if you wish on there. In fact, we should be doing some of our live streams on there maybe once in a while. You have 3D rooms, all sorts of wonderful things. Anyway, ad over. I'm sorry. I've been strictly told that I must include an ad at the end of every subject line that we have. So that's what's going to happen. Okay, back to conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories. This one is a lecture by a gentleman some time back. Actually, this isn't new. The fact that he had access, or he was given access to certain alien spacecrafts, which apparently crashed, or somehow the government got a hold of them, and they have developed or had developed anti-gravity technology, which allows them obviously to traverse the universe and get to us. So I just want the introduction to this, just so you guys get a little idea of what I'm talking about.
First time release worldwide of Technologies and Secrets. It is time, and so I am going to teach you some things here on this board about the cover-up that has been mentioned before in some of the lectures, about the alien cover-up, and about some of our own human-based programs to make anti-gravity and various other technologies. I don't want this to be a dull and boring lecture, and the opening montage you saw covers scenes from everything we're going to try to squeeze into an hour. If it goes over your head or you forget things, don't worry. They're recording it on a DVD, and I planned on this. What we're presenting here is going to go far and wide, not just here in Roswell. It's the beginning of an unveiling. You saw the blue and red satin magician's cape. We're pulling the lid off of a number of things today. I didn't even tell Guy, organizing this, what exactly we were going to do, because I didn't want it to leak out anywhere. In this country, in the the late parts of World War II, about 1943, there were a number of programs other than the Manhattan Project that were started to develop weapons to defeat Germany. We knew at that time that Germany was going to try to get an atomic bomb, and certainly the effort was thwarted. But there were other projects. Dr. Edward Teller, the kind of alleged father of the hydrogen bomb project, recruited myself and a number of other people from the mid-50s forward until 1971. I was recruited in 71, a latecomer to the program. But back in those early days, there was a real problem with removing the blinders off of scientists to develop new weapons and new defensive mechanisms as well. So in 1943, the men developing this project tried to figure out a way to convince scientists that certain things like anti-gravity, new types of weapons were possible, to remove the blinders. So by 1952, they had already started what I'm going to show you here. But this is where it happened. Can you hear me? Is this mic on here? Only for the video. Sorry, folks. All right, I will project without popping my peas. Thank you.
We hope so.
All right. In 1947, Jesse Marcel was heavily ridiculed over the release of the information that we had a flying saucer down. I must tell you that they were Air Force officers. They were officers of the 509th Bomb Wing, and these are the guys that did the atomic bomb testing. They weren't stupid. They knew the difference between a kite and pieces of metal and bodies and things that were real. It wasn't crash dummies. It wasn't alfoil and Scotch tape and balsa wood. He was duped into setting up for that photo there in Fort Worth. Now, he took a lot of flack. His son defends him today. But this is where it started here at Roswell Army Airfield, 1947.
A flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection.
Little time warp sound effects there. Now, you've all heard of Jesse Marcel, but you would not have heard of Colonel Harrison there. Let's see if I can get back to him. Yeah, all right. I've got to twitch.
Okay, I'm going to start skipping a little bit.
Get in there. Okay. Now, Colonel Harrison died in 2003 now. He lived in Fort Worth. He was the next door neighbor of an acquaintance of Holly mine who works for Lockheed. Colonel Harrison was a co-pilot on the first atomic bomb test dropped in Bikini Atoll. He received the Distinguished Flying Cross. He was a lifelong friend, as you can see here, of from the wartime days till he died, of the McCain family, Senator McCain and Admiral McCain. He also served as a special assistant to Admiral McCain at a very top-level security position. He's one of the guys that was truly a secret keeper, and he did it even from his son until the day that he died. As it turns out, Colonel Harrison was outside the back of his apartment, slipped and fell and hurt his head to the point that it was a cerebral hemorrhage. They took him to the hospital, and he lingered for a while, and his son was in there with him just before his dad died, and he said, "Dad, I've got to know, were the aliens real?" Because this guy was here at Roswell, and a number of paper trails led to his plane ID for having ferry parts back to Fort Worth and over to Wright Pat. And he turned to his son and he said, "All I will say is that they were real." And he died a few minutes later. So you have another witness, hearsay, but one of the kind that really counts because he was a very special fella. He flew the B-47s, the early Strategic Air Command, and he also commanded the B-52 Air Wing under Curtis LeMay.
Okay.
Who's Raymond F. Jones. This Island Earth, one of the two probably classic Hollywood productions about alien invasions of Earth in the 50s, the other being The Forbidden Planet. Raymond Jones wrote this and 74 other stories. Raymond was a Mormon and inhabited 77 in this reprint done in England.
Okay, this is, as I say, this is a very, very long lecture about all of the background information about how they developed these things, the anti-gravity fields, and this is an explanation about water and how it generates the water droplet actually generates I forgot, it's some sort of force, but anyway. We could go on. What I would suggest for anyone who wants to actually see this entire lecture, go to Speakers Corner Online, Banksy style, and I will post it there so you can all watch it in full. In the meanwhile, I think that we've got enough on the table on that, especially with the Colonel saying that he confessed to his son about Roswell landing. What do you think, Manny?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's just a rumor, isn't it? I mean, how do we know any of that is true? I mean, a lot of these lectures, and I've listened to a lot of them, they appeal to your emotional side of the brain. There's very little factual information. I mean, sometimes they do present different pieces of the jigsaw, and it kind of points to that, but nothing is super factual. And I don't know. I take these things with a pinch of salt. I think it's a far better conversation to hear somebody that thinks the world is shaped as a naan bread versus somebody who is saying that it's a globe. I think that conversation, it really kind of gets my interest going more than the aliens existing. I'm not sure about the alien thing, but both of those conversations.
So you're more likely to. wait a minute. So you're more likely to believe that the world is flat than there are aliens in the universe?
No. I think that's much more of a closer match. Have you ever heard a debate between a flat earther and somebody who actually thinks that the world is a globe? Have you ever heard an out and right, like a complete debate? I mean,
Yeah.
they never.
I posted it.
Oh, maybe I missed it.
Yeah, there's a guy called, I forgot, Mr. Scientist or Mr. something or other, and he debated flat earthers on a neutral channel, kind of like Modern Day Debates kind of place. Actually, Modern Day Debates has had many debates, flat earthers versus, globe earthers, I guess. Basically, scientists versus idiots, and yeah, so yeah, I've heard plenty of. But are you saying that this anti-gravitational technology, aliens potentially crashing on Earth, or alien technology, this is less believable than flat Earth?
No, that's not what I said. I say that the debate is more.
Interesting.
Yeah, and also I don't think you can have a conversation or a debate about aliens being around without bringing in religion, because there is a whole angle to this, that these aliens were really first depicted by the religious books, or what people call demons or jinns or whatever the name is for whatever religion. So I
Angels.
think there has to be a third element to that conversation, which then it becomes interesting to me. But if we're going to say, if we're going to listen to a debate where someone's going to say there's a flying naan bread in the sky, and there's aliens on board, I'm not sure. I'm gonna last until the end of the debate.
I mean, are you saying that it's just simply not interesting to you, or are you saying that it is unbelievable?
It's not
It's
believable.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
But flat Earth is more believable.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But okay. So is flat Earth? I mean, is the flat Earth argument better argument than aliens?
Yeah. So if we're comparing the flat earthers with those that believe there are aliens, amongst us or flying around, I think the flat earthers put up a much better argument against their rivals than the pro-aliens do. That's my point.
Okay. All right. Do you believe that it is possible to actually travel faster than light?
I suppose it could be possible. I mean, have we done it? Possibly not.
Well, no. It's not whether we've done it. I mean, the thing is, it isn't actually possible to travel because of the fact that the closer you get to the speed of light, the heavier you become. Your mass becomes infinitely heavy, and basically you crush under your own weight. So it isn't possible. The vehicle that you're going to travel in will crush, will just be destroyed. So you can't travel at the speed of light, but you can travel. But you can travel through space if you can reduce your mass to almost nothing. And this is the where this video gets quite interesting later on, is that they said that they have developed, or they know of technology which can actually put the particular, I don't know whether it's on a quantum level or on a particle level or whatever, it can put the vehicle in a status of no mass. So because the only thing that can travel at the speed of light is a photon, a particle of light. That's the only thing, because it has no mass. Photons have no mass, so they can travel at the speed of light. This video and this gentleman is actually claiming that they can actually develop a technology which will take a vehicle that has mass with humans or objects in it, put it in a status in which it has no mass, and thus it can travel at the speed of light, because it is as it's got the same amount of mass as a photon. And now it goes into very complicated things later on about how it does this, but these are, like, to me, this is much more interesting than whether the Earth is flat or round, because the Earth being flat or round is a simple 2-minute trip into lower orbit Earth. That argument will be immediately settled by whoever the hell it is that's claiming it. Now, the only reason these flat earthers can make these claims is because of the fact that we simply don't have the capability for me to launch one of these idiots into low orbit Earth, which I would happily do if I was Superman. But if we develop sorry.
Launch a drone.
We have, but these guys don't believe those evidence. They just completely deny all evidence.
Their argument is something about the lens being fisheye.
No, it's not the lens being fisheye. Nothing. I can show you videos of the International Space Station live right now of the International Space Station revolving around the Earth, and these people don't believe those things. They make all sorts of conspiracy theories about it.
Yeah, when I've debated them and I've tried to debate on the side of the globe, and I've said that one of the answers was, well, look at some of the latest movies, about space. Look how believable that is. And once I came home and I had a look at one of those movies, it was which one was it? It was one of the more recent ones that won an Oscar. And you know what? Those movies about space it does look real. So again, you got to.
No, the thing is, yes, movies can simulate things, and this is where the gap of these flat earthers find is that movies can make it look like it's round. They themselves literally said one of their experiments was that in order to prove that there is the Earth is flat is to have people located in different parts of the world, in Australia, in South America, Africa, and then try to I forgot what they wanted to do. They wanted to do an experiment in order to show that the Earth is flat. But literally in their statements, they were like, we have people all around the world ready to do this experiment. Did you hear what I just said? Yeah. A flat earther said we have people stationed all around the world ready to do this experiment.
Yeah, I mean one of the most convincing experiments that I came across was a laser test that they did for miles, and that turned out that the laser, which was supposed to meet the other laser, was actually above it. So that was probably the best experiment that I came across. But again, it's like I didn't conduct it, so I can't be completely convinced. But can I just say to Sam, the thing with me and aliens is, if these beings exist, I think it's far more likely they're going to be interdimensional, right? I don't really believe that either, but let's just say that's my most favorite explanation. The most likely, as far as aliens, going to be interdimensional. Now, if that is the case, then I need to comprehend and bring into the argument that those interdimensional beings are also exactly what the religions or the spiritualists actually say are demonic entities or otherworldly entities. So that's why I can't just have a conversation as it was presented by Banksy in that video, or the video presented it, that there's aliens, because I don't think that's a complete argument. It's like talking about how to make a cake without talking about where flour or sugar comes from. It's just not going to happen.
Interesting. Okay, let's move on to what we call current affairs. But before we move into current affairs, I'd just like to let everyone know that yes, you can actually find the videos, the subsequent videos that I'm posting, all on Speaker's Corner online, and I'm going to demonstrate to you now how you can find it. And there it is. So the video that I posted, there it is. And you can actually watch this video on Speaker's Corner Online, of course. And if you wish to listen to it as a podcast on your mobile, all you need to do, which I believe somebody posted a video, which was extremely annoying, but they posted a video, that you can actually, there it is, you can actually take the video that you want, post it onto Speaker's Corner Online through your app, and then once it's playing, you can actually close your phone down, which I think this person is going to do now, which is Manny, funnily enough, who's demonstrated this. Yeah, you can now the video is playing. You can actually, oh God, what is this? Yeah, you can lock your screen. You can lock your screen, Oh God! Why don't you just show the damn video? Normal. There you go. And then you just press play, and it will play the video as a podcast for you. So you don't have to keep your phone on and drain your battery and all that because it's on YouTube. You can do this with any YouTube video. Now, I'll be perfectly honest, for legal reasons, this wasn't a feature that was included in Speaker's Corner purposefully. This was just a happenstance of the embedding of the URL from YouTube into the Speaker's Corner video player. So it wasn't an intentional benefit, but it is a benefit. So if you have no other reasons to use Speaker's Corner online but to listen to your podcasts ad-free and with your phone locked, you can do so. This is like a freebie. There's literally something, by the way, that you have to pay for on YouTube. YouTube makes you pay for this type of feature. You have to buy a subscription to, I don't know, YouTube Plus or whatever the fuck it is to get this. And this shit is free now. You can just do it for free on Speaker's Corner Online. So go to Speaker's Corner. If you have no other reason to go to Speaker's Corner Online, this is one reason that I've just given you, the most amazing reason ever to go to Speaker's Corner Online and listen to your long form podcast style videos, your Joe Rogan interviews and all of that shit. You can listen to it through Speaker's Corner Online ad free. Also, we have a tokens feature, which if you upload videos and photos, you will get a steady stream of tokens given to you. I believe Manny did a competition and he's already given out hundreds to people like Sam M and others.
Oh yeah, we have a problem with that. Thanks for reminding me. So when you finish this, I need to make an apology.
Okay. Apparently there's a problem with that, but we'll get that fixed, and we'll make sure that those tokens get allocated anyway. But those tokens, there's plans for those tokens. So collect your tokens now, because those tokens will become valuable. Hint, hint, cryptocurrency. But yeah, I'm just saying that those will be valuable at some point. There are plans at work, from what I hear. Little birdies have whispered to me. Anyway, interview of advert over. Next, now let me see, hold on, because I don't know if I shared sound with this one.
So can I just make a correction about those?
Go ahead.
So what happened was Sam M and Angel Moon, and who else was it? It was Jordan of Eyes UK. It's going to be this so I can hear my own voice. So what we did as part of the competition win, obviously there were the prize was the artwork. Is that I said we'll give some tokens away. Now I did that in a very stupid way without really speaking to the developers and what have you. In fact, there's no way of creating tokens out of thin air, because like Banksy's already said, the idea is to turn them into a cryptocurrency. When I said, I'm going to give some tokens away as part of the prize, the team that updates the tokens and everything manually had to add those into the free people's account. Now because it's the way it's coded, you can't cheat the system. Every single update meant that the tokens would disappear because none of those people had actually earned them, and the system knows that. So I'm really sorry you can't have those tokens, because you can't just give it away. And I've had a lot of trouble as a consequence. So my apologies. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to get some T-shirts or some caps printed or something along those lines, and we're going to send them out to you at some point. I don't know exactly when it's going to be, because there's another surprise coming up in the near future, but you'll definitely get an apology prize or gift from. Well, I mean,
Sam already won the artworks from Rogers.
Yeah, he's got.
So he's already quids in. He's got like a priceless piece of work from Rogista, which will be hung along with Van Gogh and Da Vinci at some point in the future, and then protesters can throw soup at it. In fact, we will insist, if there is any environmental protesters who wish to throw food at Rogers' artwork, it will have to be baked beans, Heinz baked beans only. No fucking tomato soup or any other shenanigans like that. Purely Heinz baked beans. Only the only food accepted.
He's at an exhibition this week. He's got another exhibition showing. So
I
might go there to see him on Friday. If I do, I'll do a live stream.
Okay, we're moving on, guys. We're running out of time. Christ, we've got 10 minutes and we've got several other subjects to still go through. We actually have 2 more main subjects. Well, actually 3 more. No, we got 4. Shit. Okay, let's go through this one real quick. Manny, just give me your take. Fast, sharp, quick. Here's a man on Channel 4 who, it's supposed to be a woman, but a man with tits. You know, they say there are no dicks with chicks. There are just dudes with tits. They're just guys with tits. So, yeah, this is a man on Channel 4. This, in any other century previous to this century, would have been considered something that you would probably either go to jail for exposure or, I don't know, some kind of criminal charges would be coming towards you. Except in this particular scenario, you get a roaring round of applause. Obviously, we have to censor this on YouTube, so YouTube we can't. Yes, he's playing some kind of comedy. The man is naked, and then he goes ahead and plays the last couple of tunes with his female dick. Apparently, this female plays the piano with her penis. I'm sorry, I keep misgendering this individual. This lady, being all ladylike, plays the piano with her penis. Manny, your thoughts?
Disgusting. It was on at 9 o'clock on Channel 4. From what I heard, I think it's completely disgusting. I find it sickening. I'm kind of upset that children could have been watching it at that time. And obviously the person's not right in the head. Okay, you can't do something like that and be accepted as a mentally stable person. So that's my take on it.
There you go. I personally see that this is one of the final nails in the European the Western experiment of liberty and sort of civil society, or should I say enlightenment. I believe that Western civilization is falling fast, and this is the slippery slide that everybody talked about, the slippery slope. Okay, moving on to the next sporting event. Well, actually, Manny, I would like you to hazard a guess to what sport we are talking about.
Oh my God! It's not feet wrestling, is it?
The game
got it in one.
requires awesome ankle power, strong thighs, and total concentration. And like its cousin sport, arm wrestling, toe wrestling, Age of Wetton, Staffordshire.
Let me fast forward.
The USA came to participate. Each match is played by 2 men or 2 women who sit opposite each other on the so-called Todium, with their big toes interlocked, and wait for the referee to give the countdown. 3, 2, 1, toes away. Each player must keep their non-wrestling foot off the ground at all times, and part of their bottom must always be in touch with the ground. On the command toes away, each player attempts to force their opponent's foot over or along, and make the outside edge of the opponent's foot touch the footrest of the toes rack. This maneuver is known as a toe down.
Why?
All right, Manny, thoughts?
But why would you do that? I mean, none of them had good-looking feet or anything of that sort.
And those were the ladies' feet, by the way. I only showed you the ladies. We didn't even get to the men's events and some of the horrific fucking talons that they fucking had.
Yeah, I don't know. Good job I didn't have a big dinner.
Okay. We are
What's
rapidly.
your take? I want to hear your take on it.
My take is that this was the sport of gods. Hercules and Odysseus have performed this many a times on Mount Olympus. I mean, what can I say? It's the most ridiculous shit I've seen ever. But I have other more ridiculous crap out there, which I will present next week. But for now, yeah, toe wrestling. It's a thing. And it's actually a thing that's been happening for a long time. It's not even like a new thing. I mean, that telephone boxing was telephone boxing is kind of a relatively new, ridiculous shit that's come about in Russia. This is a traditional British event. This has been around quite a long time. I'm not sure if it goes back hundreds of years, but it certainly goes back decades for sure. Just like many other British staple events. Okay, this is really just an image just to get us talking. This is our relationship section. Oh my God, I've ran through so many things. By the way, go to Speakers Corner Online. I can forget. I have to throw in like a Speakers Corner Online at every segment I get into. That's the promise we've made. Oh yeah. By the way, on Speakers Corner Online, I've posted, actually I haven't posted. Someone else has posted this 21 convention. But I also follow these 21 convention guys. They are brilliant. Trust me. They started off with pickup artists, but now they're just all about the manosphere and red pilling. And there are some great speakers in this 21 convention. So I highly recommend. I mean, they are available on YouTube, but you can find them on Speakers Corner Online. So they'll be out there. So anyway, Manny, marriage. What is your take, sir?
Modern day marriage?
Is it worth it?
Well, yes.
You still believe it's worth it even in the 21st century?
For not for everybody. Admittedly, and not in the way it used to be. If somebody was to, like somebody young, at the age when I got married, was to come up and ask me, should I? I can't say I would lovingly say yes, you should. But having said that, there's plenty of men I know that are happily married, enjoy marriage, and benefit from marriage. So they are pros and cons. I suppose it depends on what type of relationship you have as well. Some people have a good relationship, some people don't, right? Some men just want an easy life, and yet they're married to somebody that don't want to give them an easy life. Some men want a woman to be hardworking as them, and the woman's lazy and they don't really push them or push themselves. It's all about what you want out of it and how you both can team up. So in other words, finding the right person. So men see marriage as very different to what women see marriage. These are two very, very different objectives, and unless that can be clarified before marriage and people can be honest, then the marriage is not really going to be as fruitful as people want. But I'm definitely not on MGTOW, because I just feel that MGTOW is now, or MGTOW, sorry, is now becoming like a male version of feminism. Men are becoming very bitchy and they're missing the point a lot of the time. Sorry.
No, that's good. That's good. I mean, I as you know, I agree with the central philosophy of MGTOW, which is men should step away from what the system forces them to do, which is just the usual societal expectations of grow up, get married, have kids, get a mortgage, all that nonsense, which basically ties them to the system, because the system needs men to be working, to be paying money, to be paying taxes, to be buying property in order to keep the system going. And I think that men no longer need to abide by those rules. Men should step off the reservation and actually go their own way, not necessarily exclude women from their lives. And this is where there are different categories of MGTOW. Now, there are some MGTOW monks who say completely stay away from women, just don't engage, don't associate with women whatsoever. And there are those who say, no, I can date women, but I won't marry them. I won't let them live with me, but I can, still date them and have sex, given the boundaries and the sort of parameters in which I know I can date a woman under. So I can date a woman, but you see, the problem is there are even when the fact that you are having sex with a woman will open you up to all sorts of potential issues, especially if you're a successful man. I mean, there are reports of NBA players and British, Premier League footballers where women will steal their condoms. Even if they use a condom during sex and they throw it in a bin or something, they will steal their condoms and then impregnate themselves because they know they're going to get a lifetime of child support from this incredibly successful or incredibly rich individual. So literally, coaches are now telling young sports people, especially successful ones and rich ones, to wrap up their condoms and take it with them if they have sex with a woman. Don't put it in a bin. Don't put it, flush it down the toilet maybe, but just don't leave it anywhere near that woman. Take it away with you and discard it away from the woman, because women have been known to do these things. There was a report recently I saw where a woman held the semen of a man in her mouth when she orally gave him pleasure, and then used that semen to impregnate herself. And the man sued her, but he couldn't sue her for theft because he had already given her his semen in her mouth, so it wasn't theft at the time he gave it to her. But the fact that she impregnated herself with the semen that she took in her mouth is unbelievable. But this is happening, people. So next time you're getting a blowy, I suggest just come on her face, because it's so much. It's at least safer, and you can at least wipe that shit off yourself later. If you come in her mouth, you don't know where that's going to end up. I'm not joking. This is reality. This is happening. I couldn't believe it when I saw that article. I wish I'd saved. Actually, I should have saved it and shown it here. But yes, an article exists, and I will post it on Speaker's Corner Online. So you guys have to go there to see it. But go to Speaker's Corner Online, and I'll find that article and I'll post it. A woman kept the semen of a man in her mouth, and then later on impregnated herself with it. So men engaging with women. Now you wonder why MGTOW is a thing. This is the thing, Manny. I think you've been married for a long time. You haven't actually had to engage in the madness that is the dating scene of the 21st century. And so for that reason, a lot of men are out of touch. This is why...
Let me correct you on that. I'm actually helping a friend of mine through exactly the type of woman. He's going through a divorce. So he was married to exactly this type of woman that you're describing here. So I'm kind of helping him through that, and a lot of my friends have been through that. So I understand exactly what this whole concept of marriage has become. But the thing is, I'm not going to throw every single marriage under the bus, because I also know a number of happily married men as well. But it all comes down to the quality of your choosing in the first place, right? So if you've chosen badly, then the outcome is going to be badly. That's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, but you see, when you say you've chosen badly, it's like the choices we make are so cut clean, and it's like so easy to know which women to marry and which one not to marry. I can say yes, those Instagram thoughts, stay the hell away from them. Stay the hell away from single mothers. Do not get involved with single mothers. You can pump and dump, but again, you got problems there. She might hold her semen in her back of her fucking throat like some kind of sword swallowing magician, and then regurgitate it later on and then impregnate herself with it. I don't know which there are these magicians who've got like some kind of second stomach, and they can hold liquid in some side and then bring it back up. Maybe she's got those sort of skills. You don't know how many stomach your woman is carrying, so be careful.
I would say, if you're looking to create a formula of whether or not you'll have a successful marriage, the first figure needs to be how many sexual partners your potential bride has had.
But how would you know that?
Oh, so now you say, I've had this conversation before. Okay, whatever figure she says, you times it by 3.
The rule of 3. If a man says they've had sex with 3 women, they've had no sex with anyone, because it's minus. And the woman, whatever she says, you times it by 3. So yeah, the thing is, yes, you're right. You can find certain types of women. You can sort of pass through. Maybe she comes from a certain family. Maybe her family. Maybe they're distant relatives. Sometimes people look into like seventh cousin, twice removed or some shit. Hopefully far enough away so that your kids don't come out in some fucking deformed, mutated ogres. But basically, yeah. I can see those things, and especially I come from the Middle East, so a lot of that sort of things happen. And you can go to maybe, I don't know, certain countries and find a good wife, and potentially marry and come over. I will say this. I interviewed a guy who was a MGTOW in 2017 or 16, I think it was 16, 17, just when I started uploading to my YouTube channel, like, more regularly. And this guy was an Iranian. He was an airline pilot. And long story short, I mean, he had an engaged woman, and the woman turned out to become some kind of gold digger, and he completely broke off the engagement, and everybody was devastated and all that. But what he told me in the long run is, I am a very successful man. I'm an airline pilot, commercial jet pilot. He's got his own house, fully paid for, cars, very, very, comfortable, lavish life. He says, the only way I'm going to get married is, first of all, I'm going to make money until I'm in my sort of 50s. Then I'm going to move to somewhere like Vietnam or Cambodia or Philippines, perhaps. Somewhere where the legal system is much more geared towards a man than it is a woman. And I will marry a woman from that part of the world, a nice girl. I'll find a nice girl, homely girl, virgin, all that shit. But I will live with her there. I won't bring her back to Australia. Because you bring her back to Australia, the legal system you'll be dealing with is Australian legal system, not a one that's favorable to you. Well, let me just say this one thing before I completely forget. The reason Andrew Tate, and a lot of people complain about, he moved to Romania because he wants to rape women. No, that's nonsense. It's because he doesn't want to be Me Too'd by women. He doesn't want to fall under this gynocentric, woke, political and legal system of Britain. I can totally understand why rich men leave Western European nations, because if you want to have sex with women and be rich, you can't do it in Europe anymore. Women have so many ways of fucking you over if you're a rich, successful man, that it's too risky. It's way too risky. The man is in Romania, and he recently was in Dubai, and apparently he's become a Muslim now, which I don't know how that's going to work with his womanizing and drinking. I actually posted that on his Getter the other day, how you're going to handle the drinking and the womanizing. But anyway, but he's apparently become a Muslim, but he's certainly enjoying life in Dubai and in that part of the world, because he knows that part of the world caters to men, especially rich, successful men. Sorry, Manny, go ahead.
No, I was just going to add to that. So I was telling you my friend's going through this situation, and he was telling me that a relative of his called him up and said, can you make sure your wife doesn't come to my house anymore, because every time she does, my wife argues with me, right? Because they go off into a separate room and they share ideas and what have you. And I was telling him a story about a man I know who was divorced twice. He's a very rich, successful man. I've known him for years. And he then, on his third marriage, went to Brazil, and he married a stunning woman, brought her over, and they weren't living too far from me, actually. And they were living there, and then he started noticing changes, and these changes happened the more she spent time with the next door neighbor, and it turned out the next door neighbor was giving her ideas of how to take and demand and play
screw him over.
So he overnight, within 2 weeks, he sold everything, including his business, his houses, his properties, his cars, and they were on the most convenient flight back to Brazil, and they've been living there. They've been living there for 6 years now. And
of course. Why wouldn't he? Because I don't know, Steve. Someone's saying someone's hiding Steve's chat. Please don't hide Steve's chat. We like to see Steve. Steve is a friend.
There's no admin on this channel, so no one's hiding anything. They're probably on different channels. Yeah, it might be, because this channel, this show is being broadcasted on Speakers Corner Online on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter, Facebook, and on Banksy Style. Now, there are admins on the Banksy Style side, so I do apologize if some of the admins are being a bit hasty with their powers. So yeah. So if there is anyone that's getting banned on the Banksy Style side, admins on the Banksy Style, chill. Please stop banning people. But anyway, moving on real quick. As always, go to Speakers Corner Online and check out our videos and our conversations there. That's where we will be uploading the more saucy stuff. Now, if you think I'm rude here, wait till you catch me on Speakers Corner Online.
when I am completely unshackled and I can hulk out with swear words and all sorts.
So can I just say that you sent a very good video about Discord today, and I don't want to talk about that video, but that same aspect of tracking and tracing is apparent in all the social medias, platforms. And I am literally, sometimes I wake up and I say to myself, this is the day I'm literally going to delete all my social media accounts, because they are not to be trusted. And even if they're mildly trustable, what they're also doing, they're promoting terrorism, pedophilia, they're doing all these nasty things. So I definitely don't go on any of those platforms, especially Twitter, Facebook. These are disgusting platforms. Some of the things that you can come across, it's just not.
Oh yeah, well, Twitter has got porn. Yeah,
Sorry?
Twitter's got full-on porn on it. I mean, you can find porn on Twitter. I mean, there are porn stars that are just got their Twitter accounts, but yet Andrew Tate is banned from Twitter. He's a man who tries to promote like a wholesome way of life, or generally, just generally being traditional about things. Anyway, so that's that. Now there is a final bit now, although I think I've skipped one, which is about money and investments. Manny, I just want you to give a 5-minute synopsis of if someone wants to dabble or someone wants to look into either the markets or just play or learn how to use, let's say, stock market. Now, if I'm just a complete novice, how would you give me a dummy's guide to start maybe looking at the markets and purchasing my first stock?
All right. So there's different ways to play the markets, and first you've got to know what products it is. So it's not just stocks and shares. It's not. There's currencies. There's commodities, and they're the most simple ones anyway. But if commodities and currencies or stocks, I would say currencies is the most easiest, followed by shares, followed by commodities. But there's different ways of buying these investments as well, and playing the markets. But let's just keep it simple. Let's just say for this conversation, it's shares. Shares is quite tricky. It's not as simple as finding the right company. Like, you're not, the likelihood of you realizing the next Apple or the next Amazon is not as big as you might think. But one way, or certainly what some of the safer hands do, is they find the leading company in each industry. For example, McDonald's is the biggest restaurant company in the world. Microsoft is the biggest software company in the world, and the biggest online e-commerce platform is obviously Amazon, and so on and so forth. So you find the dominator of each industry, and then you buy that. And you hedge your funds through different companies, and then you look at what the dividends, what your return is going to be. So the reason why you favorably buy the dominators is basically that. Let's just take in 2008, there was a big shake-up of McDonald's, where it was reported there were pieces of plastic found in chicken nuggets. Now, for any other company, that would have been a wipeout situation. For example, we saw with Subway, it was reported that they were using chemicals found in yoga mats in their bread, and Subway hasn't recovered from that, right, and won't probably recover for that even for a few years. But McDonald's, with pieces of plastic found in McNuggets, and their biggest customer for those are children, managed to recover. How? Because they threw money at it like there was no tomorrow. They hired some of the top leading PR firms, which managed to relaunch McDonald's brand effectively, saying it's green, it's healthy. That's where the salads and the fruit bags came in, and that type of thing. And as a consequence, people's investments were safe, and a lot of hedge fund money was in McDonald's at the time as well. That was safe. So if you want to be safe and you want to grow your money through stocks and shares, buy the dominators, the leading company in each industry.
Interesting. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, also McDonald's at some point had that documentary made, Super Size Me. I'm sure that must have been quite devastating for them. I stopped eating McDonald's for a week after that, but of course I went right back. In fact, the following week I went back and I had twice as many as I had the previous week because I had to like catch up. So I had 2 Big Macs instead of 1. But yeah. I mean, yeah, that supersized me. I swear. I stopped eating McDonald's fries because of that. Certainly, I've actually like stopped even now. I don't like McDonald's fries because that whole show was actually the McDonald's fries was the most fattening aspect of the whole thing. But anyway, either way, yeah, I get what you mean. So start with the top of the tree, if you like, the top dominating companies. Buy a little bit in them, and then perhaps gauge in other things and just find your feet. Now, would you say something like, I don't know, an app like, I don't know, El Toro or any of these other apps on your phone, because they give you play money, like you can play for a while, would they be okay to start with?
I don't use them myself. I think eToro is the one where
eToro.
There's traders on there, and then you follow their trade.
You can ghost them. Yeah, you can shadow them.
Yeah. I nearly got into that myself many years ago, but it was very slow in those days. It wasn't really a big market, but people make money from it. I mean, I don't know anyone that I know that does it myself, but I heard. Oh, really, you don't know what's true and what's not really.
Would there be any particular books that you can recommend that would be a good starter book for anyone who wants to start in this?
Trading Wizards, I think that's the cheapest one I've got. It's about 50 quid from
Trading
Amazon.
Wizards.
I think it's Trading Wizards. I'm not near my.
Okay, next week we'll maybe do a short look into that book. So if you can find it, and then we'll look into it.
Yeah, sure.
Trading Wizards. Yeah, I found. Market Wizards. It's called
Market Wizards. That's it. Market Wizards.
Oh, it's Market Wizards. Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, next week we'll maybe you can show us and give us a few. It says top interview with top traders. So he actually interviews top traders in that book, by the looks of it. National bestseller. Okay, maybe next week we can have a little delve into that or a little mini book review or something, and you can give us some hints and tips.
So a lot of people are saying like we're banning people or free speech. I don't know what they're talking about. Are these people on your channel? Because there's no mods. There's no mods on Speakers Corner Online, so no one's banning you on here.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Some people are. Don't worry about the chat. The chat is mostly irrelevant. But okay, that's it, Mr. Manny. We're 17 minutes over our allotted time, and I'm done. I've got all my topics out of the way. I have ticked every section, although we swapped over the money and the relationship one. It was supposed to go to money and then relationship. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share these podcasts, because that is the only way we will ever grow in this environment, because it is an incredibly censorious environment on YouTube and all the other social media platforms. We require your assistance. Help us to help you. If you enjoy our content, do something about it, share it wide and far, and also, of course, go to Speakers Corner Online and actually experience a taste of what real freedom of speech feels like, to be able to post things that would otherwise get you kicked off and deplatformed on other places. So yeah, go to Speakers Corner Online, check us out, check out our 3D rooms. You can message me. The only messages I actually reply to are direct messages in Speakers Corner Online. I don't reply to messages in my comments, very rarely. I don't know if Manny even does, but I doubt it. So if you want to contact any of us, me, Manny, directly, go to Speakers Corner Online, find our channels or our accounts there, and then you can message us. So if you need us to answer your questions or do anything in regards to that, or just a general chit chat, then yeah, find me over there. Other than that, yeah, everything else is good. Final thoughts, Mr. Manny?
Well, thank you for hosting. Thank you for everybody joining, listening, and all that good stuff. Appreciate it. Good show. Thank you very much, Banksy.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, keep talking for a few more minutes because my machine is still loading. Okay, no, it's good. Don't need to. Stop talking. I found it. Yeah, guys and girls, thank you everyone for coming. Thanks for those of you who still want to have a dig. in the side chats about it's not a real free speech, whatever. Look, there are no such thing as absolute free speech. There is just speech within boundaries. Some are more wider than others. That's all there is. I'm sorry, but we live in a world in which other people have to live with us, and we have to live amongst other human beings. No man's an island.
It's not even that. There's a difference between abuse and free speech. Right?
Well, that as well.
People think being abusive is free speech. It's not. That's abuse.
That is true. But then again, sometimes some of your speech can appear to be upsetting, but is it abusive? Then you have to somebody has to kind of weigh that up. Is my speech simply just upsetting, or is my speech abusive? And now, if you're targeting an individual, most of the time they say that's abusive. If you're hounding a single individual, but if you're simply saying things and critiquing a person's opinions, it's hard to say. This is why we should have as much freedoms as possible, so that we can actually pass through these things, whilst the sort of authoritarians in our world, such as the British government and the Canadian government and of course the Chinese and the Iranians, they don't want you to have any speech, because they want you to monitor everything you say, because they don't want to allow for any level of especially their particular agendas to be challenged, or for them to be upset. But anyway, it is what it is, guys. Catch us again this time next week at 8 o'clock. And have yourselves a wonderful evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am now going to play us out with our usual video.
Is indivisible. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
If any words that I have spoken have commanded attention, that is only because they find an echo in the breasts of those of every land and of every race who love freedom and are the foes of tyranny.
You are not our queens. You are not our kings. You are not our gods. We do not belong to you. We are not your slaves. We stand as free humans, have stood since the beginning of time against the strong men.